The saga began before Christmas. East Valley resident Ricardo Frias sending this email to the Santan Library, asking to host a story time with a Christian-themed book. But after the new year and several follow-up emails, he finally got an answer.
He was eventually denied that opportunity and denied access to the library.
Andrew Gould is senior counsel for First Liberty Institute and is representing Frias. When Frias asked why he was being denied, a county representative sent an email back that said, quote, "Because the building is county owned, we have to be careful about the separation of church and state, and we aren't allowed to offer the space for church or religious activities that could be considered preaching."
That, of course, is unconstitutional and illegal. You can't just exclude Christian groups. You can't just exclude certain messages in books in a public library because they're Christian or you don't agree with their viewpoint.
Gould says his client was sent the general guidelines for use of meeting rooms, which we got a copy of.
The guidelines for use of the library room are pretty basic. They didn't have any exclusions that pertain to the viewpoint, nor could they.
Gould sent a demand letter to Pinal County Monday demanding they reverse their denial of Frias' storytime request. We reached out to Pinal County to ask for their side of this story. A spokesperson told us this is a new facility and staff and legal are working to review and revise the policies, calling this a miscommunication. They also said, quote, "As opposed to being part of the library, it is actually a county meeting room that is typically reserved for county-led meetings or meetings where a county representative is present. As neither of these qualifiers existed with this request, the county simply declined the use. Moving forward, we are confident that we will be able to work with Mr. Frias to come to an amicable resolution." While the county has responded to us, Gould says he and his client haven't heard a peep.
I haven't heard a single response from them. The bottom line is, Mr. Frias deserves right as a citizen to have access to that library to read this book.
Gould says in the demand letter, their institute has given Pinal County until February 7th to grant Frias access to the library for this. Otherwise, they plan to sue for violation of the Constitution. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Getting more nurses